How did it feel to be out there with part of your team today in the sun?
Well, the sun feels really good, not to rub it in, but it's been exciting around here because guys showed up. A lot of them showed up early. Everybody showed up ready to go, and it's always easier to jump right in. The whole dynamic of off-season workouts have changed so much over the years, and the expectation. These guys are sending all their information in. We're watching their videos. We get to zoom in on some of their bullpens and some of their batting practice sessions. So, we just feel like we're a little further along, knowing that they've been doing the work that now we can progress, because you don't have a whole lot of time until those games start.
A question about last season, just the shortened season, and how, and I don't know if this would reveal itself so early, but how beneficial was it maybe for the younger pitchers with a 60 game like Brady and Bubic, just playing 60 games and kind of coming into the spring? Like, where do you see their development, and where do you expect them to be coming into camp?
Yeah, I'm expecting both of them to come in ready to compete, Lynn. I think the 60 games is just what we had to deal with. I thought they responded extremely well. I thought those 60 games may have been as challenging with all the extra distractions, a whole lot less of the fanfare. There are things that make it easier and things that make it more difficult. They're going to continue to face new challenges with each season. The league gets to know them a little better. Dealing with your first off season, coming in here, still, trying to make your mark. But they responded extremely well with some of the challenges we gave them. We gave each of the guys good homework list of things that they needed to improve on, things that we felt and what the data was showing they need to come into spring training a little bit cleaner on. And you can see both guys have worked on that, just taking their game to that next level. So ideally we would have had 162 to figure out how far we could have pushed them and how much they could have helped us get to where we want to be. But it was what it was. And now we just use that experience to help them move forward.
I know last year you didn't want to use the term rebuild, but given what Dayton has given you to work with this year, bringing in Minor, Benny, Santana, the other guys, do you feel like you've gotten what you wanted, what you need for these guys to be where you want them to be?
Yeah, Rob, I'm excited about, I think that word excited has been used a lot. I know they quoted Benny a number of times, but I think that's pretty consistent across the board. Every move we made, whether it was Michael Taylor early, then it was on to Santana and Mike Minor. We get Holly back and bringing back Wade, and obviously Benny here more recently. Every time you could hear, and my phone was blowing up with some of the players, like, "Oh yeah, that helps us. Here we go." And it's just kind of that momentum. We talked about that earlier today. Just the momentum, I think, is a great phrase right now, because there were so many positive things that our guys did, whether it was the young pitchers that Lynn brought up, or a number of the position players that just kind of solidified to themselves, you know what, I belong here. And then more importantly than anything is how that group, you could sense it, you could hear it. When we walked onto the field that last part of the season, they saw good things happening instead of walking out there with doubt. And that's an easy trap for any player to fall into, let alone a team with so many young players. And so there was a lot of things that you saw in the internal development and the physical development. And then the organization really does an amazing job of bringing in some pieces that are going to help us take that next step. And it just continues that momentum.
Did everyone here supposed to be here?
Just about. We got a couple guys late. Some will be pushed back with visa issues, and others just aren't quite here yet.
This off season, what was it like for you? Just kind of anticipation and waiting to get to this point, and how much time and planning have you done, considering that I guess you don't know if everything's going to go as scheduled, like with still COVID around, and kind of how you're going to go about, are you going to have the same protocols when you get back to Kansas City? How do you kind of like try to get through that stuff this offseason in addition to all the baseball stuff?
Well, first of all, the off season was it was tough in the fact that I wasn't ready to be done playing baseball yet, and I can speak for all our guys. One is the fact that it was 60 games. Second is we all wanted to figure out how we could keep playing, because we believe if we kept playing, we'd have found a way to be playing in the postseason. But all in all, it's always that deal. As soon as this thing ends, you get into watching the postseason. I was excited that Major League Baseball was able to have a postseason, and I thought it was a successful one at that for our fan base. But after that, we're making those kind of moves, and you start to get that excitement level up, and you start seeing the commitment from the organization and the excitement with our players, and then you just want to get guys together and go. So it's been a little bit of, as I've said before, kind of waiting for the candy store to open. And looking inside the window and ready to rock, and realizing that we're just going to try and keep pushing these guys to be prepared, but also pushing the way that they're thinking about themselves and about each other and about this club. And as far as there was so much uncertainty, Todd, like there has been in the past. To get distracted by all the different things you're hearing was really on our priority list, to keep in conversation with the players, to keep them motivated that we're starting on time. No matter what you're hearing, listen, there's too many outside forces that we don't control. What we can control is to be ready for our pitchers and catchers on February 17th, and for our position players right after. Guys, be ready to go. And the worst thing we can do is to back off, and then all of a sudden it sneaks up on us. That's the worst thing you can do for yourself, physically and psychologically. And the guys did a great job. They bought in, they showed up here, continued their work, and now it's just seeing some of the benefits of all the things that they worked so hard on all winter long.
With the spring training numbers being capped at 75, the minor leaguers not starting till April, does that change anything on your end, what you'll be able to do, not do in these next couple months?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's also you're limited on the number of staff, and it takes a large staff to be able to be available. And Mick, the real concern is trying to keep us from having any kind of outbreak. Obviously, we're going to continue to respect all the protocols and everything that's handed to us from the CDC down through Major League Baseball. And I think that's going to be a major concern for every club. One, how can we do our part to make sure that we're able to put our product on the field? Two, how do we keep, probably number one should be, we just got to keep our guys safe and keep them healthy. And then for the good of the game after that. And obviously we just want to make sure that we're going to be on point and be able to adjust to whatever changes come along the way. But it's going to be evolving as this season goes, just like it was last year. And I think it's just being open to the fact of this isn't going to be normal again, and not to let it become a distraction that gets in the way of the work we need to do.
How would you describe your openness to the possibility of a 6-man rotation, the necessity of it or lack thereof?
Yeah, and that's always a great conversation. I've never been afraid to have that or entertain it. I think early on it doesn't make a lot of sense with so many off days. I think that's pretty standard. It doesn't even look like we would need a number 5 starter possibly until 13th, 14th, right around there. So that goes into the conversation. I think we'd have to always consider, especially the conversations we've already had about some of these young pitchers, and how can we watch them without limiting them from the beginning. Are there some times or some stretches where it makes sense, where we're giving certain guys more rest and maybe not to others? And so I'm open, and I know that that's something Dayton and I have had conversations about, and we'll continue to figure out what's going to be best for each individual player to protect them on the health side, but also to give our team the best shot each night.
Hey, two things sort of semi-related. I wonder if you come into this season with any different sense of appreciation of what sports and baseball means on the broader landscape than maybe before. Obviously, you always held it in high esteem, but I just wonder if that feels a little different.
Yeah, I was really proud of baseball, thinking we probably pulled off something that the other sports weren't going to be able to pull off. I truly was wondering how football was going to be able to do what they did. And man, it's impressive once again. And obviously we'd love to seeing our Chiefs take that title at the end. But an exciting season, and we're all learning from each other. I think there were some things we were able to do that probably helped out the other sports, and vice versa. As we move forward, we're learning some of the things that they were able to do, and to try and put this thing in the past. But it's going to continue to really revolve around how this thing continues to develop, and we don't know, and we're not going to get so handcuffed and in fear either. And we're just going to do everything we can do under our control, take advantage of some of the new technology, right? As far as some of the contact tracing, there's going to be ways that we can make sure that the guys are staying at their distance. And, I think it's just going to be evolving. And we're going to have to just think outside the box of how we can just do our part to keep this going, so sports can continue to be that kind of light like you're talking about, Vahe. It's I had a number of people all winter long tell me how much they needed to have some baseball on and something back in their life, which was a little more normal. So hopefully we'll even get more of that, and putting butts in seats in Kaufman and down here in Surprise as well. I know people are excited and to be a part of being in a stadium again. And hopefully that's something that we can do and keep doing our part to help the healing process.
In the context of the pandemic, you've seen sports teams lift a city before, but did you feel it any differently in the sense of the Chiefs getting Kansas City through 2020 in a lot of ways?
Yeah, no, it was it's one of those things that you watch from the outside and you love being a part of it. I mean, we're all Chiefs fans, everybody in here, and no matter where they grew up. And it first of all, it's a hard team not to root for, just the brand of football that they bring and the excitement level that they bring. But I think there's more to it than just that. When you see a city rally around a team, you can tell how hungry Kansas City was to have that and have that ability. And I think it also, you reading some of the social media, even of our guys, they want a piece of that, right? And that's exactly where we should be. Realize, hey, let's go out there and put a real good product together. We saw it. They saw it. Many people, all of you did in 14 and 15. And we keep getting reaffirmed with what the Chiefs have done the last couple of years. That we go do our part and put a real good product on the field. We're going to have some crazy support from our fan base. And that's something that excites us, and can't wait to take that next step forward.
The other thing, you talked a little bit about this last year. I kind of mean this lightheartedly, but not necessarily. Did you pick up any more languages in the last few months? A little Mandarin maybe, or anything like that? And the more serious part is, I know you like to give your guys stuff to share that you read. I do wonder what kinds of things like that maybe have come up in the last couple of months that you might be able to share.
Yeah, we've really spent a lot of time with the coaching staff and also coaches throughout the organization in the development side, and kind of have two different studies going on. One on a book called The Speed of Trust, which is by Stephen Covey Jr. And the second, there's a couple books. One is called Inside Out Coaching, which I think's an annual read for anybody who's coaching. Talking more about being a transformational coach than a transactional coach. This is written by Joe Ehrman, former NFL player, I believe. It's just something that I need to be consistently reminded of, and kind of puts, there's some cool initiatives that Joe has going right now, trying to take advantage of the platform of sports to help build men. And that's something that we need to always keep in mind, that these are men, not machines, and how can we dive into life with them and help prepare them in every aspect of their life. And so I think always getting back to that foundation is a great place for all of us, and to challenge ourselves with questions of, why do I coach, and how does it feel to be coached by me? I mean, those are things that I think get down to the roots of why you go about doing what you do and how you do it, and how can we do it better. And so been really encouraged about how intentional in growth that this staff is. And we've had some great leadership from Matt Morosco inside the Royals organization, who's director of leadership development, and kind of facilitating these. And to me, it's all about, multiplying leaders, and the more we can invest into these guys, it's going to multiply into those clubhouses, and that's something that I believe is very special about this organization.
Mike, I mean, it was a year like no other, but I do wonder, how it feels a year later to be back in the seat. I mean, it was, brand new a year ago at this time, and now here you are, aging veteran in the Royals chair.
Oh yeah. It's nice just having the relationships already started, and relationships are always evolving, and to be able to come in here and talk with these guys about their families, and those are conversations that we're having all winter long, and it's just kind of it's always a reunion though to get face to face, and I think that's something that we're missing in culture right now altogether. People are missing being face to face, even at social distance, but seeing these guys besides on a Zoom call, that to be in the same space and to be able to communicate. I mean, you can do so much through this technology, but it doesn't do justice to the ability to kind of have some of that interaction. So I'm just excited to be where we are, especially as you started hearing about potential delays, you started hearing about all the uncertainty. But there's been a lot of lives affected, and we're always going to be very sensitive to that. And this clubhouse has not been immune to it. So we're also trying to just help guys navigate through tough stuff. I've said this before. They aren't immune to real life, and there's some things, and there's been some tragedies, and some of those things that are more easily addressed when you can do it when you're face to face. So all that. Those challenges, plus just the benefit of being around people that you like. And there's a lot of people around here that care deeply about, and looking forward to watching them improve individually. But getting back to our original conversations, I just can't tell you the excitement. You feel a buzz in here. I wish you guys were around here, because you would sense it too. You really would. It's not just some sort of, company line here. You can tell that they're looking around. We just watched 22 bullpens a few minutes ago, and the stuff that we're seeing on those mounds, it's advanced even for some of the young guys. And you put that in place in line with some of the things that we watched our guys improve to do last year. My favorite line right now: it's a great time to be a Royal.